Imagine waking up every single day knowing that just outside your shelter, something bigger, faster, and infinitely deadlier was probably looking at you as its next meal. That was life for our ancestors. 4 million years ago, we often look back at the Stone Age and think of spear-wielding hunters taking down mammoths. But way before that, our early human ancestors were less apex predator and more prey. How did these relatively small, slow beings survive in a world absolutely teeming with monstrous beasts? This isn't just a history lesson, it's a deep dive into the raw, primal ingenuity that forged humanity, teaching us about the incredible will to survive against impossible odds. You're about to discover the terrifying daily reality our ancestors faced and the surprisingly clever ways they outsmarted creatures that could rip them apart in seconds. Picture this. You step outside. The air is thick, humid. Giant ferns brush against your legs. You hear the distant roar of something enormous, something that could crush your skull with a single bite. This wasn't some fantasy novel. This was Earth from a million years ago. It was a world utterly untamed, a sprawling, dangerous landscape where every rustle in the grass, every shadow, could mean instant death. Our early hominid ancestors, Australopithecus and early Homo species, weren't the strong, dominant figures we often picture. They were smaller, probably averaging around 5 feet tall, and certainly not equipped with natural weapons like claws, fangs, or thick hides. They were, in essence, fragile bags of meat in a world of living, breathing tanks. Their senses were constantly on high alert, tuned to the whispers of danger that lurked everywhere. From the dense forests to the open savannas, danger wasn't just a possibility, it was the default setting. They didn't have safe towns or even fortified villages, just rough shelters, often shared with other creatures who might be planning to eat them. So, who were these terrifying neighbors? Forget what you think you know about lions and tigers. We're talking about creatures that make today's big cats look like house pets. Imagine coming face to face with a saber-toothed cat. Not just a saber-toothed cat, but Smilodon, a beast the size of a modern horse, with 10-inch canines designed for tearing through thick hide and muscle. These weren't stealth hunters in the way a leopard is. They were ambush predators, powerful enough to take down large prey quickly, and a small hominid would have been an easy snack. Then there were the dire wolves. These weren't your average wolves. They were larger, more robust, with a stronger bite, and they hunted in packs. Imagine a dozen of those, coordinated and relentless, hounding your small group across the plains. There were also giant short-faced bears, massive omnivores that stood nearly 10 feet tall on their hind legs and weighed over a ton. They were fast, powerful, and utterly fearless. And let's not forget the terrifying reptilian predators, like Megalania in ancient Australia, a colossal monitor lizard that could grow over 20 feet long. Essentially, our ancestors were surrounded by evolution's greatest hits of killing machines, each perfectly adapted to its environment and looking for its next meal. Survival wasn't a choice, it was a daily, brutal struggle. It sounds bleak, right? How could a species without claws or incredible speed possibly survive? This is where the human story truly begins, and it's a testament to our most powerful weapon, our minds. While physically weaker, our ancestors possessed a few critical advantages. First, bipedalism. Standing upright meant they could see over tall grasses, spotting predators or potential food sources from a distance. It also freed up their hands, which were perfect for grasping, manipulating, and eventually crafting. But the real game changer was their developing intelligence and social structure. Unlike many solitary predators, early humans lived in groups. This offered safety in numbers, yes, but more importantly, it allowed for cooperation. They could communicate warnings, share knowledge, and coordinate defensive strategies. A single human was vulnerable. A group, working together, could be a formidable presence. This collective intelligence meant they could learn, adapt, and pass down survival tactics through generations, slowly but surely gaining an edge in a world built against them. Their physical limitations forced them to innovate, to think critically, and to rely on each other in ways no other species did so. What did this ingenuity actually look like in practice? It wasn't about fighting these mega-predators head-on. That would have been suicide. It was about avoidance, deterrence, and exploiting opportunities. One of the earliest and most vital innovations was tool use. Simple sharp stones, known as Alderon tools, weren't weapons in the modern sense. They were for processing meat, scraping hides, and shaping wood, allowing quicker access to nutrient-rich bone marrow from scavenged carcasses. For instance, before a larger predator returned, a sharp stick, while not a spear against a saber-toothed cat, could be used to ward off smaller threats or poke into crevices, but perhaps nothing transformed their survival. Chances more than the control of fire. Imagine a dark, freezing night. A roaring fire provides warmth, light, and, crucially, a powerful deterrent to most predators. Most animals are instinctively afraid of fire. A flickering blaze, accompanied by the crackle of burning wood and the shouts of a group, would have kept many would-be attackers at bay. Fire also allowed them to cook food, making it easier to digest and killing off pathogens, meaning more nutrients and less sickness. Cooking also made food last longer, reducing the constant pressure to find fresh sustenance. It was a revolutionary technology that literally brought light and safety to the darkness, letting our ancestors gather around a communal hearth, sharing stories, and forging stronger social bonds. Beyond tools and fire, their survival hinged on an intimate, almost spiritual, understanding of their environment. They were master observers. They learned the habits of every animal, tracking their movements, anticipating their attacks, and identifying their weaknesses. They knew which plants were safe to eat, which offered medicine, and which were poisonous. This wasn't just academic knowledge. It was life or death information passed down from elder to youth. They became adept at reading the landscape for signs of danger. A broken branch, a fresh print, the sudden silence of birds. Evasion was often the best strategy. They found safety in caves, rock shelters, and even constructed rudimentary shelters from branches and leaves. While these didn't offer total protection, they created a barrier, a place to hide, and a base from which to plan. They also learned to use their intelligence to scare off predators with noise, throwing rocks, or simply by being an unpredictable, shouting mob. They understood that even the fiercest predator, if it faced too much risk for its meal, would often choose an easier target. Their ingenuity, combined with their strong social bonds, turned them from vulnerable prey into resilient survivors, paving the way for the incredible journey of humanity. So, while our early ancestors lacked the brute strength of their monstrous neighbors, they survived by leveraging their sharp minds, developing tools, mastering fire, and forming strong, cooperative communities. They didn't win by fighting every battle, but by outsmarting, outmaneuvering, and collectively adapting to a world designed to kill them. It's a powerful reminder that our greatest strength has always been our ability to think, learn, and work together. What do you think was the single most important innovation that allowed early humans to survive these terrifying predators? Was it fire, tools, or something else entirely? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the incredible journey of human history.